today I'm going to be fitting an outside tap, and simple enough job you might think, but I've seen people make mistakes here and I get called out to put those mistakes right time and time again. So just stick with us. I'm going to be giving you loads of tips, and if you watch the whole thing you won't make any mistakes. So as you can see that I used a bit of a brutal drill there, and drilling through the wall is probably going to be the hardest part for the DIY, because you might not have a drill that is big enough to do the job. So you can see that I drill from the outside. It's always preferable, because if you drill from the inside and you get that breakout, suddenly you've lost a big old patch around where you want to put the tap. So it's broken out on the inside, but I'm not worried about that. A little bit of filler, a little bit of plaster, and that'll look as good as new, and it's behind the fridge anyway. So what we need is a sleeve to go through the wall, and that is actually a water regulation, and then the pipe will go through the sleeve. The only problem with doing that is that when we put this pipe in, we've got this back plate here, and the back plate, the holes are very close to the edge of the bigger hole, so we have to drill carefully. And what I do is I tend to just angle the drill slightly so it drills slightly outwards, and try to avoid breaking that hole out, because it's horrible. So don't do that with a hammer drill, just do that with an ordinary drill and just try and ease it through, you'll be fine. So the reason that I use this particular type of through the wall tube rather than a pipe coming out and an elbow and everything else is because you need to minimize the amount of pipework that you have on the outside of the building wherever you can, because obviously pipework on the outside of the building is a frost risk and we don't want burst pipes. I find with this, I've got this at home, I never turn my tap off in the winter and it never freezes. Okay, sometimes when you go to turn it on, it's frozen just at the tap, but it's not enough to cause a problem. And because this one is actually behind the fridge, we're going to be getting heat from the fridge all the time, all through the winter, and that bit of warm water that's in that pipe, relatively warm, will just stop this from freezing. Honestly, it will be no problem at all. Because I find that people never isolate their tap in the winter, they always forget. Here's my first tip, if you like, and that is that when you screw this into the fitting, as it tightens right the way up, you'll find the vertical point. Now that's tight, okay? We could just say a little bit because there's maybe a bit of sealant there, so we could just go for there. But if that's upright, we need to stick that pipe through the wall at this point, make sure it's upright, and that is where we mark our holes. Now, if you think about it, if you just randomly put this through here, and you don't know where the tight spot is going to be, when you tighten the tap up, you'll find that the tap is tight there. So what can you do? You can't tighten it more, and you want it to be upright, so you're going to have to unwind the tap. And if you unwind the tap, if you back it off, as they say, to make it upright, you'll find that if you're using PTFE tape, it will leak like crazy. Just a little tip. Get it to the tight spot, get it upright, and then you won't have any trouble at all. I'm going to show you a few more things, alternative ways of sealing this thread, which will also help you. Okay, so I'm going to drill this, but I'm not going to use hammer setting because I don't want to destroy that bit of brickwork. Right, that's nice. That one can go straight. And then one here. Okay, that's good. So at this point, a lot of people like to put a bit of sealant around there to seal this back plate against the wall. There's nothing wrong with doing that at all, except that if this pipe did leak in here, you would really want to see it coming out and dribbling down the wall rather than just dripping down on the inside. Now, it's highly unlikely it's ever going to leak. We've sleeved it through, which is the water regulation. Now you'll notice that I put that pipe in horizontally. Some people would say to you, put it in at an angle so that the pipe will drain out when you isolate it inside and you turn the tap on. That may be true, but quite honestly, I found it doesn't really work like that. So for me, that's fine. But if you want to put it in with an angle up or down, whatever you want to do, absolutely fine by me. You know the trouble with putting too big a plug in? Is it expands and cracks the masonry. Now this outside tap is grandly called a hose union bibcock outside tap. What it's got is an integral non-return valve in it. Now that is actually a water regulation. You're supposed to fit a non-return valve. You can fit one in the pipe and use an ordinary tap, or you can get one with it built in. Now the idea of this is, in the event of there being some kind of back siphonage off the mains, in other words, somebody's house is on fire down the road, fire engine comes along, hooks up to the hydrant and sucks all the water out to put the fire out. If you've got a tap and you've got a hose pipe into a water butt or something like that, contaminated, it's paddling pool, it doesn't matter what it is, and that fire engine starts sucking the mains out, it can suck all the contents of your water butt or paddling pool back into the mains and contaminate the mains. Now, okay, it's very unlikely to happen, and this is actually at the bottom of a hill, so it's even less likely to happen that this would be sucked up. But regulations are regulations, you know, they put these in for a reason. So that is a little non-return valve in there, and you can hear it. We'll have ducks coming round in a minute. The only trouble with these, there's two problems. One is that if they freeze, they can distort, and that can cause a problem. The other problem is that they do slow the flow down. So if you don't have fantastic water pressure, then having that in the end is going to restrict your flow even more, and you may find that you're trying to water something and you've got a pathetic little dribble coming out the end. This house has very good water pressure, so I don't envisage any problems with it. So that built-in check valve would seem like a very simple solution, except you learn that in plumbing and in life, nothing's that simple. And it's only allowed if you're replacing an existing tap. So you can use that built-in check valve if you're just replacing a tap that hasn't got a check valve, doesn't have a check valve in the system. But if you're fitting a new tap, then you've got to put the check valve in the pipework, indoors, away from any frost danger. And this is the check valve. It's got an arrow on it, and you have to make sure that that is going out towards the tap. But you put it in nearest the tap as you possibly can after any other branch, so that you don't have a situation where you're siphoning out a water butt into your kitchen tap. Now there are a number of different ways of sealing the thread here, and a lot of people will just use PTFE tape, which is very slippery stuff, lovely stuff, easy to use. And if you're going to use that, you wrap it round the thread. You probably want about 8 turns. Now the trouble with that is polytetrafluoride ethylene tape is one of the slipperiest substances known to man, apart from me of course. And what that does is when you put it on there, it never feels tight. You'll put the PTFE tape on, somebody will knock the tap and it'll be round there, and it can start to leak because you can't really back this stuff off. In other words, if we wrap that up now and we put that in there, if we want to make a slight adjustment, if it's slightly off, we want to turn it to that. Backing off with PTFE tape is not a great solution. But if you do decide to use it, that's absolutely fine. Most people do use it. The important thing is to do what they call break the thread here. Sometimes you find that fittings come with that thread broken, but if it isn't broken, then just giving it a little sideways move, and you can see what that does. It just puts scratch lines across the thread. Might seem like a bit of vandalism. Now, having that rough thread, when you put the PTFE tape on, and always clockwise, always keep the tension nice, and in it goes, that will just give it something to grip on. Time and time again I go out to leaks, and all that's happened is because I haven't roughened the thread up, the PTFE tape has just run up the thread, especially on radiator valves because they're chrome. You get that all the time. The number of leaks I've been out to on radiator valves, and all I've done is taken it off, roughened it up, put it back, and it's fine. So that's one way of doing it, PTFE tape. Nothing wrong with that, but it's not my preferred method. So next in line is this wonderful stuff called Loctite 577, and you can just take a little bit of that and you can run it round the thread. You only need to really run it in the first thread about halfway, but you know, put a bit more on if you like. And what that does, Loctite 577, and it's different. There's another one of these which isn't the same, and you can get Screwfix's own brand one, which is all right, but what it doesn't do is lock into position. So if you use the 577 and your tap's like that and you just want to straighten it up, once this is in contact with metal and air, it needs the two, it will set and that will be solid. So it's a great thing, it won't leak, it's a very nice product. The only trouble for me, being a plumber, needing to get in and out and charge the customer as little money as possible, is that with that you've got to hang about, you've got to wait for it to go off before you can turn the water on and test the tap. So if you're just going in to do that small job and you're not doing other jobs in the house, that for me is the biggest drawback of using that. So here we come to my favoured method of doing it, which is the thread, which is basically string. Now this you just wrap onto the thread, so put a bit there and then I'll just begin first couple of turns on it, and then you don't need to worry about following the thread. In actual fact, it's better if you don't, because if you follow the thread there is always a tendency for it to wind along the thread as you're tightening it. But if you've done that kind of crisscross random effect there, and that is actually plenty of thread on there, and if I just use a little cutter here to cut it off, wrap that round. Now you do see people that put sealant on the end of that as well. No harm in doing that really, but it doesn't need it. This is a perfect seal on its own without anything else. So all we then do is turn that. Now the beauty of this thread, you can see it's already tight in that position. I'll probably put slightly too much on it, but it doesn't matter, it's gonna go. The beauty of this thread is that if you do have to back it off, you get to there and you wanna back it up to there, you can back it up to there and it won't leak. So for me, a way better product than PTFE tape, and I use it all the time, radiator valves, all kinds of plumbing, never have any trouble whatsoever. The plumbing regulations dictate that at this point I've finished the outside, that's fine, I need a cup of tea. Okay, that's the job done now. You probably noticed that I didn't give you too much of a clue about joining to the pipework indoors. The reason for that is there'd be so many different variations. You could be using push fit fittings, you could be using solder as I did, you could be using compression fittings, but we do have a video showing you how to join all these different pipes together. So it's really more a question of watching this one than if you're not sure about how to join pipes, go to our other video.